Thanks, Osama, Professor Peter, and others on the stage. As Osama said, the reason I'm here is primarily that I'm on the board at the DEF, but also because of mine and my organization's interest in using mobiles in a large number of platforms. At the foundation, we find that we are increasingly leveraging the use of mobiles in our biggest area that we work. The biggest area that we work is healthcare, and we've been using some tools in developing mobiles to reach out to particularly mothers in that's one major area that we are working on. Then we work a little bit with the government there to reach out to government to people payments. That's a big exercise that we are doing right now. Some of you who understand maternal care in the primary health system in India will know that it operates through a large number of semi-skilled and volunteer groups called Ashas and Anganwadi workers, and these have to be paid very regularly. What normally happens is that because these are systems that are more or less outside the government system, payments get delayed, and that results in a great deal of disincentivization. So to be able to ensure that these payments are made regularly, what we are working on right now as a pilot in Bihar is with the IFC, a system where government to Asha payments can be done through mobile phones, because as you all know, everybody has mobile phones, and we will keep saying that through the day. The important thing that I wanted to focus on today was the one place where we think that at the moment there is really no alternative to the power of mobile phones, and that is in financial inclusion or in providing financial services to the poor. As I said, among the things that we do at the foundation, the largest area is health. In that, our focus is on maternal and child health. But one area in which we work increasingly more and more is in providing financial services to the poor. And what I'm going to speak on in this session is just specifically on why we think that mobiles are important. Why is it that we work with mobile phones on financial inclusion, and what message does the financial inclusion and the financial services for the poor theme give to people working on using mobiles for development? So what I've called it is mobiles and inclusion, financial services for the poor. The point that I make is that there are a large number of people who are poor in the world. We know that very well. The South Asian region is host to more than half of them. The point that there are a large number of people who are poor is well known. But what is not so very well known is that there is a large correlation between those who are poor and those who have no access to financial services of any kind. For example, in India, estimates vary between 60 to 70% on the number of people who have access to a bank. Across the world, it is the same figure, that nearly about 90% of the people have no connection with the banking system. As economists, what we realize is that one of the greatest tools for people to develop is the access to a formal monetary system. Sovereign countries provide various services. One of the greatest services they provide is a reliable banking system. A banking system, when we all go and use our ATM cards and sign our checks, we know that there is a huge background of security systems that are installed that ensure that the money we deposit or the money that we borrow is safe. Imagine if you are outside that banking system, you're extremely vulnerable in a modern society. And that's what is the case with nearly 4/5 of the population today. And that is why the third point, that it is not surprising that a lot of people really value banking systems around the world and demand a banking system. So therefore, in the absence of a banking system, what we have is a large number of very poorly regulated networks, which are the cause of much of the oppression and exploitation that exists in rural parts of the world, with very high interest rates, very draconian forms of debt collection and so on, that you are familiar with. Again, something that recent history in India brought about in a renewed manner, with all the manifestations of the various problems that exist in unregulated, ungoverned financial systems, which simply come about because the poor have no access to formal systems that we have. And that is why the importance of formal systems. So what we've done with a few partners is estimated that the cost of these shocks to the poor is huge. And if there is a tool that can address this, then the shocks can reduce by about 70%. That's the kind of impact that any formal financial system can have. The reason I emphasize it, the reason I underline it, is that very often the value that mobile phones and mobile phone-like tools bring to the financial sector is understated. It cannot be underlined as to how important it is, because such shocks are life-debilitating shocks. These shocks are the reason for a large number of poor person suicides that you see across the world. And if these shocks can be brought down by simple tools, it's possibly one of the greatest welfare measures that can be taken up. It's like this. You see, if I go back and give you some more examples of literature that exists on poverty and poverty's impact in poor countries, one aspect that I must remind you of is the fact that a large number of poor, say, for example, in the farming community, are very high on the entrepreneurship scale. The typical view is that the poor are not risk takers. But take a poor farmer in India. Take this year. There's no rain. On any season that you are planting your crop, you are facing a 20% chance of failure because there is a 20% of drought year upon year. And that high risk is something that only the poor take. And when there is no risk mitigation mechanism, then when the risk unfolds, then you are wiped out. Right? And remember that the poor have no collateral, they have nothing to bank on. That's the only thing that they will grow for the year. And if that collapses, the entire system collapses for them. That is why you will find that the importance for risk mitigation mechanisms in the financial sector is so very critical. That is why what I say is that it helps with people at three levels. One, it reduces cost of financial activities. It increases the poor household capacity to manage these shocks and to mitigate their risks. And it has an economy-wide impact. I need not say that today when we are facing a situation where agriculture growth is feared to be low, we find that the entire economy is trembling in its shoes. So what has happened is that on the supply side, there we see that there is a big market failure. The simple question that people would ask is that if there is such high demand, then why isn't there supply? Because economics dictates that if there is high demand, then there should be supply that should come in immediately at low cost. Why does it happen that despite such heavy demand for financial tools, banks don't reach? Why do we have 2/3 of the population without any banking facility? And here is a classic case of banking failure. The simple reason that most of us know about is that the cost of transactions are very high. When I as a bank go and service 100 of you who are going to deposit 100 rupees each and borrow 50 rupees each, versus somebody sitting there who is going to deposit 200,000 and borrow 500,000, I find it easier to service one person than 100 people, because the per unit cost of transaction to do banking business is approximately the same. And therefore it makes economic sense for me to serve the urban rich or the middle class than the rural poor. So this is a classic case. And therefore the answer has to come from some innovation that will ensure that these transaction costs are cut down and makes banking for the poor financially viable, so that the market can go and reach out to a large number of people and provide that supply to that great demand that exists. And that is where I end, that a large number of studies, a large number of case studies, and you will find that that an increasing number of case studies and nominations that we get at the MBillions provide this one service that allows the poor to bank with institutions using very small values and borrowing very small values. That is a power of the mobile phone that has been touched to a small extent in some countries, Kenya being a great example that is often quoted. In some areas in India, small case studies that are often quoted. And here is a use of the mobile phone that fulfills all the requirements of a development tool. It is universal. Everybody has access. It is very low cost. The per unit transaction is, the marginal costs are close to zero. It is something that is very easily scalable, and it is something that is extremely replicable. That is why the issue of of financial inclusion using mobiles is a classic example of how mobiles can be used in the development sector. Thank you.